anybody who tells you that they could solve this even plus 99% is, it's not true. You know, if you're hitting like 96% accuracy on this, you're doing very, very well. So basically, we feel we're one of the only technologies that just allows you to upload any data without us looking at it, and you can just see for yourself what the results are like. So when you're on there, you can literally just click on the instant test platform. Obviously, you will then have to go through a registration page. I'm already logged in, and it'll just take you into this dashboard that you can use to do basically test uploads. It has the API help here on the dashboard, and basically, you know, any developers who are looking at this, they'll see that it's just super simple API, you know. And then we also have this manual, so you can connect to the API. Just you get your token, your API key, sorry, here at the top, and we get a lot of people just jumping in, startups, and they just want to integrate and throw some receipts in through the API and just see how it works. So it's really fast for them to iterate and prototype like that. And then we also built on this just the test upload function. So for people who don't want to get their hands dirty with even any kind of development, you know, we have like there's an image editor upload. This kind of just gives you an idea of how you can use it on a mobile phone. We have the editor, not because we need to crop our images, and I can show you that later, but basically you could get an idea of how it would work maybe within a mobile phone application. So it goes into an image editor, and then, you know, there's a kind of cropping function, and we actually don't need that, but there's a lot of existing applications that already have this kind of function, so it just lets them see how that would kind of work within that. And then you just upload, and then basically it's like as soon as your receipt hits our server, we're processing in around an average of 3 seconds to get your result back. So my connection's a little bit slow on the upload here. The wonders of Dubai broadband. So I'll just give this a chance. But it's an interesting one, this, actually, because I think I picked this because you can see there's a line all the way through one of the line items description, basically. So it's kind of to show, if we move this out of the way, we should be able to, yeah, the result will come up. So basically, once it hits the server, it's like 2 to 3 seconds upload. But so you can see here the data we're extracting out of, say, a Walmart. Excuse the pounds because my account's set to UK. It's not set to global. But you can see all the line items we're pulling out. And it's interesting when you zoom in on something like this, which is cotton balls. It's come up over as column balls, but you can kind of excuse it with that line through it. And then the product code, which has got a line all the way through, is actually extracted 100% correct. So, you know, the AI we built, it's predictive. You know, it's intelligent AI. But what's more important about the models that we built, it's about data classification. So we've trained our models to understand, you know, what a total is, what an address is, what, you know, all the fields of a POS receipt are. So, so yeah, I mean, I could actually just show you, like, this is one which we've done some enhancement and refinement after it's been done, and we can get right into line item details. As I said, we had market research companies coming on board, so basically breaking line items down to units, discounts, you know, price, product codes, is all, like, you know, it's super advanced when it comes to this receipt OCR. And I think I've probably got maybe some multi-language. Yeah, I to be honest, I'm not sure if this is Chinese or Japanese. I believe this is Chinese. But it just goes to show you, you know, like the multi-language OCR, we can extract, you know, it knows it's a product code without knowing even the language, if you know what I mean. So fundamentally, we don't know what the AI is actually doing. We've trained it, and it'll do, there's no way we can actually tell how it really understands, you know, what it's extracting effectively. So yeah, and we're also doing, you know, like e-receipts, because they're a core part of expense management. So like flight tickets get extracted as well. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like a brief. Here's a good one to show you in terms of how most people want the cropping function, but this is basically an example of what we can do with no cropping on an extremely large receipt. It's probably taking a while to load because it is a large image. So you can see here, this is a pretty huge receipt and taken from a big distance away, and consuming, just so you can see the resolution is, as long as it's, you know, fairly crisp and clear, we can, you know, literally pull all those line items out of a, you know, a receipt like that. And then just to show you kind of underneath, you can see like the JSON code, and that's what basically developers would get returned with everything broken down. We offer confidence scores on each result, so you can set up rules as to what you will accept. But we're basically hitting on a batch of 50,000 receipts across the world, multi-language, we're hitting 96% accuracy on totals, which we do believe to be the strongest in the world. So yeah, I guess that's just a kind of summary of, you know, what you could do to demo the technology. And then, you know, there's also, you know, it's really nice to see all the creative applications that are being built off the back of it. Yeah, that's it really.
So obviously, you know, it's always very easy to focus on the negatives in terms of, as opposed to the positives, the 96%. But what happens to the 4%?
So what we do is we offer a thing called, and we're the only technology to actually kind of validate totals. I'm not sure if this one is. Yeah, this is a validated total. So this one would never have to be checked by humans because it's validated by our technology. Because we're pulling out line item information, we can basically cross-check and against all of the data on the receipt to validate it, pretty much like how a human being would. And then confidence scores, so they range from 0.5 up to 0.99. You use the confidence scores to effectively decide on your rules for auto acceptance. But it's worth bearing in mind that, you know, when we tested against Mechanical Turks, Mechanical Turks are only around 97, 98% accurate. That's human beings manually entering the data. Because, I mean, what you have to remember is you get people tired and they're staring at receipts non-stop, entering in data. They make mistakes. They'll get a subtotal for a total, and, you know, so humans cannot get 100% accuracy. That's the thing that people don't necessarily grasp. So 96% accuracy on 50,000 multi-language receipts is very, very impressive. And if you break that down into regional areas and isolated regions, or, you know, retail stores, we get higher than that. So that's a really, to just be tested on any random format in the world and get that kind of accuracy is, you know, that we do feel that there's no other technology that can do that.